What's going on, everyone? My name's CakeyC and welcome to the channel. So in this upload we're talking about everything M13. So if you want to know how you can optimize the M13's performance in Warzone, or you want to see an absolutely brutal multiplayer class, stick around. We're going to go through both of them in this video, and as always, if you find any of the information in this video helpful, drop a like on it down below, leave a comment on what you're running on your M13. If you're not using it, let me know what you are using, and as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, class setups, and much more. Let's get straight into the video. So when I think about the M13, there's a nice bit of Italian cuisine that comes straight to my mind. The gun shoots f***ing spaghetti. The M13 has the lowest damage out of all of the assault rifles in Modern Warfare 2019, but the catch with the M13 is that when it shoots that fucking spaghetti, it shoots it really, really fast. And that means the M13 can keep up with the frisky Frau, the gorgeous Grau, the bad Bruin, and the mighty M4. And that's why we're having a quick look at the M13's class setup, just because this gun is a totally viable option for Warzone. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it and have a look at the class setup that you can be using on the M13 for Warzone. So getting into it pretty quickly, combat knife, EOD, ghost, amped, semtex, and the heartbeat sensor. The one thing I want to talk about is the combat knife. It's an absolutely fantastic tool to utilize in Warzone. The combat knife doesn't get the credit it deserves. You can pretty much outrun any gas at any time. It's a fantastic tool to add to your arsenal on your Warzone loadouts. So with all that out the way, let's jump onto the gunsmith and have a look at the M13 class for Warzone. So the muzzle, it needs no introduction. It's the monolithic suppressor. Do we need to go into detail? Probably not. Sound suppression, damage range, yeah, it's going to take away some ADS speed, but the M13 aims down sight pretty fast anyway. Moving on to the barrel, we got the Tempus marksman. It's the only real viable barrel for Warzone. The other two are kind of more multiplayer based anyway. So we got the Tempus marksman on there, damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. All of the longest assault rifle barrels will have these pros and these cons. It's the way the cookie crumbles. We can't do anything about it, but we'll try and make up for some ADS speed later on. So with the optic, the iron sights on the M13 aren't that strong at all. So personally, I find the VLK 3x optic the most suitable, especially to my playstyle, but there's plenty of other viable options. The Korf Combat Hollow sight is pretty good. If you want to be greedy and have two sights on one sight, the canted hybrid, whatever optic you find most suited to your playstyle, chuck that on there because the iron sights will not help you in any way, shape or form. Moving on now to the underbarrel, the Commando foregrip, again, is still pretty much the best. It's the all-round underbarrel. The Merc's okay, the Ranger's okay, but the Commando foregrip is going to give you that recoil stabilization, and it's not going to give you any ADS speed penalties, which is absolutely vital. In the fifth and final slot, we have the 60 round mags, and as I've mentioned in a few videos before, there's not much difference between the 50 round and the 60 round mags, so chuck on whichever one you prefer. If you notice a difference, chuck on the 50, but for me, I don't notice any difference at all. So the 60 round mags go on. And as we mentioned at the start of the video, the damage on this gun isn't that good. So having the 60 round mags is good for a backup. If you miss a few shots, it's not going to matter that much because you've got an extra 10 bullets in that magazine. So there we have it, guys. That's the overview of how you can make the M13 the best possible version of itself for Warzone. I know by now all of the assault rifle classes that are coming out are pretty much the monolithic, the longest barrel, some form of optic if you don't like the iron sights, and then the underbarrel's either the Commando or the Merc or possibly the Ranger, and then the ammo is pretty much always the largest mag. So there's nothing insane going on in this class. It's pretty standard. It's bread and butter. It's going to do you well whatever situation you're in. So chuck these attachments on. Let me know what you think of it down below. And with that, let's move on and have a look at the multiplayer class setup for the M13. I've been experimenting with the M13. I really like the M13 as a base gun. So I'm not going to lie, I've got a bit of a soft spot for the M13. It was the first gun that I used when I got Modern Warfare in the beginning. I feel like it's a very, very good beginner's gun. It's easy to use, it does okay damage, and most importantly, the fire rate is quite high. So it's going to get you used to some of the recoil that you might experience in the game. And that's why I hold the M13 in high regard, because it's pretty much the beginner's gun for Modern Warfare. Rest assured, this class setup is not the beginner's class setup. This class setup is fucking brutal. You can't blow any legs off with this M13, but I wish you could because you might as well. It's a bit wild, but it hits like a truck, so let's have a look at it. So the first thing you'll notice is that the muzzle slot is blocked, and that's because we're using the Tempus Cyclone barrel. Heavy duty monolithic core, but you have this barrel, so it's an integrated monolithic suppressor. Best of both worlds really. It's going to give you some sound suppression. It's also going to give you bullet velocity, which is going to come in handy with one of the other attachments that we're going to put on just in a minute. And of course, it is going to give us some aim down sight speed penalties, but it's not going to give us any movement speed penalties, and like the Mini, it's not going to give us any recoil control penalties. So moving on now, online we're going to deal with the M13 iron sights. They're not the greatest, but they're okay for those fast-paced gun battles, and we're going to chuck on a stock on this class. So we're using the M13 skeleton stock. This is going to give us some aim walking movement speed and then some ADS speed, compensating for that ADS speed penalty that we just got from putting on the barrel. And then the con is going to be aiming stability, but come on, no one knows what that is anyway. Moving on to the underbarrel, again, just like we mentioned in the first half of the video, it's the commando foregrip, it's the best, job done. Now on this, again, because we're playing multiplayer, we want to bring that gun up as fast as possible, so we're putting on the stippy grip tape, just so it makes that gun so much faster. If you're struggling with the recoil a little bit at the start, and chuck on the rubberized grip tape, that might make things a little bit easier. Just don't put on the granulated grip tape. Again, aiming stability. What? And then the ammunition is where this gun comes to life. We're going to put on the blackout 30 round mags ammunition. It's multiplayer, we're not going to need loads of bullets in the mag. Yeah, you're going to have to be reloading quite a lot, but that's just how multiplayer goes. So the .3 blackout 30 round mags are going to give you some damage range. They're going to take away the visible tracers, and you're not going to produce any enemy skulls. It is going to take away some bullet velocity and recoil control. You've already made up for that by using the integrated suppressed barrel and by using one of the grips. So there we have it, guys. Going through this quickly, we've got the Tempus Cyclone integrated suppressed barrel, the M13 skeleton stock, the commando foregrip, the stippy grip tape, and then we have the .3 blackout 30 round mags, just to completely annihilate anyone that comes in front of you. It's even better at range. It's absolutely insane what this gun can do at range because of those bullets. So there's both classes, the best M13 Warzone class and then the best M13 multiplayer class. If you found any of the information in this video helpful, or you chuck on any of these classes, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it as well, and as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, setups, how-tos, and much more.